Hey everybody, this is Kenny with another edition of the Yak with Mac. Welcome back. Today we got to sit back down again with the manager of sales operation, Patrick McDaniels. We got into a bunch of stuff, updates on the lead program, how do leaders handle the great resignation, so much more. Listen in. Hey there. Hey there, everybody. This is Kenny. Welcome back to another edition of the Yak with Mac. This is the place to be inspired. And this gentleman that I have this morning, you've heard from before. It's been almost a year, but he's back and talk about inspirational, but also talking about having some fun, which is what we're going to do today. We're going to hit that sweet spot of having some fun, but also giving you a ton of thought-provoking things this morning. So I want to introduce the manager of sales operations, Mr. Patrick McDaniels, and he has joined me this morning.
That's
And I,
me.
and I have to stop laughing, but it's so good. Patrick, and thank you, man, for that. It's just great to have that big reveal, and thank you for taking the time. And I know it's early out West Coast, West Side.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
it's early out
Yep,
there, but you are
yeah.
here with us, and thank you so much, man. And I want to dive right in because there's a bunch of things I want to really get your take and your advice on this morning. Is that cool?
Well, first, before you do that, we rehearsed this move 15 times this morning. We got up really early, all for
I
you.
know.
Secondly, this is not just my return. This is the return, and then we'll get into it. This is the return of the Yak with Mac and
And
Mac,
Mac, absolutely.
Volume 2,
Mine too.
Electric Boogaloo. Ow, I absolutely broke something on my desk. Now we can get into it.
But those breaking movies were very underrated, by the way. Electric Boogaloo is a classic. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a classic. Um, so here's the first. Well, first of all, congratulations because it's been quite a year for you. You got promoted this year, so
I did.
congratulations. Yeah,
Thank you. Thanks
and
very much.
just always doing such an outstanding job. And here's where I want to start first, though. At the end of last year and going into next year, we talked about the lead program, and I was so excited. I still am. And
Yeah.
we didn't get a chance to talk as much during the year. So I'd love to hear an update from you on how you felt that program was successful and maybe a little sneak peek on what's maybe coming in 2022, if you can. Whatever you can reveal would be great.
Mac's over here trying to get Mac fired. I can't give much away. I can't give away too much, but I'll tell you about last year. I'm insanely and
Yes.
infinitely proud of last
Yes.
year. And Lead 2021, I believe, was a huge success, especially given the context that program was built in, right? I don't need to tell you, this is not a hot take. This is not a clever quip. I don't need to tell you 2021 was a wild one. And it was an unprecedented year for all of us, full of challenges and opportunities. And we were given the privilege of building a top talent program in that environment. And I'm infinitely proud of how we were able to pull it off. And our participants just seemed to really resonate with the program. They were really pleased with the program. They were happy with the program. Not only our actual lead participants, but our lead mentors. We treated mentorship kind of like the sixth lead program. There's 5 programs for our top talent participants, and then that 6th one was for our mentors. And we showcase a commitment to them that I'm really proud of as well. And probably the biggest thing I could say about last year and is go to Twitter and go #LeadTheWay2021. And if you go there, you'll see the kind of energy and the kind of success stories that we had as a program in 2021. People are still using that hashtag, the program wrap. People are still using that hashtag to call out their promotions, to call out their stretch assignments, their special projects that they've been assigned to because of being able to be a part of this program. So really, really proud of 2021 and how it came together. Now 2022, even better. We were very well aware of the opportunities that presented itself in 2021, and we're actively working today to close some of those. to make the program even better. You never stick the landing the first time. You never stick the landing the 20th time. You should always be iterating and always be improving, listening to your customer and actively trying to incorporate that feedback. And that's exactly what we're doing for 2022. If I say anything more than that, somebody's going to come in and whisk me off with like a cane, like vaudeville. So I'm not going to say anything more. More to come soon.
No, I'm excited about that, and we'll have to have you back on to talk about that when you can. Let me go back. Let me go back to 2021 just for 1 second, though. So, what are some conversations, if you can reveal, that you've had with some folks that have gone through the program as you've given them advice on some next steps and some specifics maybe on how they can keep that momentum going?
Oh my gosh, that was a big part of our wrap up for 2021. We're very well aware that people could be wrapping up a top talent program and then sit there and say, well, what now?
Yeah.
We've heard that in the past from programs as well. Not everybody, everybody's journey is unique, but what do we do now? And so we actually tailored a large part of our graduation ceremony around that concept of like, what now? What can you do now? And I'm also excited about the fact that our commitment to our lead participants doesn't end when their program wraps. We're also currently fleshing out a very robust lead alumni program, which will kind of continue that conversation, continue the commitment to developing those folks, and continuing to help them to grow in their careers, even after they've sort of thrown the proverbial cap in the air. I think that's what happens. It's been a while. When I don't know when you graduated, but like the cat you throw in the air, and then everybody immediately does that because like it doesn't get sharp. That's no joke. That's like a weapon in Clue. Colonel Mustard with the graduation cap in the library. But we're committed to their development. We're committed to their growth beyond this program. I don't know of many programs that have done that in the past, and so I'm really proud of that.
And that is something to be enormously proud of. I'm so glad you said that. As the program unfolded, Patrick, what were some things that was some wow moments and aha moments for you that you said, wow, I see leaders doing some great things here, but man, I'm a little bit concerned that I didn't see leaders doing some things in this area. What were maybe two or three moments that struck you as the program unfolded?
Yeah, I think the big thing, I don't even think this is about the program. I think it's more general than that. So I'm going to use that as I'm going to do a cop out on that one. But I think more generally, the thing that great leaders do and that I wish more leaders would do is strike a balance between two of what I think are our most important values in action, which is to act like an owner and win together. And that's like a very specific cocktail that you got to like mix those two ingredients together in the right way. And, I see a lot of people who say, well, I'll act like an owner win. You know what I mean? Like you give me that job title, I'm going to act like an owner. But if you want to be a leader at any level in the organization, you need to approach your work in a different way. You need to feel that ownership and let it inform how you approach your work, how you approach your customers, how you approach your peers, how you approach your leaders. You truly need to act like an owner. And the really, really great ones know how to do that and develop that skill set. Even for the projects and programs that aren't super fun or super sexy, they still do it. And you have to find a way to act like an owner while knowing to win together, so you're not steamrolling everybody and be like, this is my world, man. You gotta mix that cocktail just right.
Oh, that is incredible. I'm so glad you hit on both of those. That is just it's something that I've seen over the years. And one of the things is when I would interview someone for a prospective leadership position, and they would say, if I got the job, I would. Well, why aren't you doing that now? Right. And you think about that, I can think of a couple of leaders that come to mind, and this isn't a negative thing, that do have that ownership mentality. But like you said, it's like they're on an island by themselves. It's like I got this myself. I own this, right? And I love how you said that. That's a mix, right? That's a good balance to have. And I think the leaders that were successful this year really nailed that. Um,
Yeah.
that is awesome. I want to go down another road with you though, and I felt like as I last few weeks I've been reading a lot of articles. We're walking down the road.
We're just gonna walk
It's
down a new lane. Let's go down a new lane, my friend.
it's so funny because some reason as I'm reading these articles, you keep coming to mind for me because I think that you probably have a great opinion on this. So I've been reading a lot of articles about churn, about employee churn, and how companies are really struggling, and I mean really struggling with almost a mass exodus. I think we're seeing the actual workforce in our country just changing before our eyes. And I think part of it is COVID. I think part of it is entrepreneurship. I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of things. And but I think also there had been some industries that have been a little insulated from that. Ours being one, but I'm starting to see some statistics that we may start to be a little bit part of that. And I'm
Hmm.
anxious to hear your thoughts from a leadership point of view. What are some things some leaders can do to stay ahead of the game so that they're able to hold on to their top talent and they're able to kind of head off this thing that I just see coming in our country, just down the road. Talk a little bit about what you've seen and heard, and what are some things that you would advise leaders to start to really work on now if they haven't already.
I mean, I'll touch on it. I don't know if I'm the person to be advising leaders. I just got promoted. My team's like, this dude is trying to advise leaders. My team's like, no, no, don't do that.
Stop that.
Um,
Don't you got this, man.
I think what you're referring to is called they're calling it the Great Resignation. I think is what
Yes.
they're
Yes,
calling it,
sir.
where
Yes.
everybody's like, I'm getting out. I think you touched on a lot of it. When I think about, I think you've got like the obviously the COVID stuff. We call it the COVID stuff around here. You've got the gig economy, and really the ability for people to not feel tied to an organization as closely as maybe they had to in the past. And that's been happening for a while. I think that the pandemic exacerbated it.
Yeah.
You had things like you had your Uber, you had your Lyft, you had some of these gig economy type things before. It's just, I think it was exaggerated by the pandemic. I think
Yeah.
what I would recommend for leaders is just really focus on your EQ, on your emotional intelligence,
Hmm.
and in one very specific place. And this is tough. This is tough. I have to be honest with you. I'm not. I'm not guilty of this myself. Like, I've done this too. When we talk to our people, how well are we at really listening? Or especially that question that we hear at the beginning of every sync, right? Like, hey, how you doing? Like, hey, how's it going? Are we asking that because we truly want to know? Or are we like, okay, got that question off of the sync, and now next, here's all the other work that I got. Like, do we truly care? And does their answer change the way that we approach them? Now, I'm very fortunate. I have leadership a few levels up as well that I feel do and showcase that, I think, really well. So I've had an awesome shadow of a leader and a shadow of a leader and a shadow of a leader to show that my leadership cares, and I hope that my team feels that I do as well. I think you stay. I'm gonna butcher the old adage, but I think you stay with the company because of the people and not the work itself. And so
Hmm.
you got to care about your people, and you
Hmm.
got to listen to them, and you have to be flexible, and you have to approach them differently because everybody's different. It's like emotional situational leadership. And we've always all been a giant basket of emotions. It's just now in this pandemic that we're sort of moving out of. This is now going to age terribly, Mac. Out of pandemic, I think all of those emotions are heightened, and so our responses need to be heightened as well. And when we do that, I think we
Wow.
keep more than we lose.
Wow. That is just phenomenal advice. I love everything you said. And it is definitely a different time, which is why the program, the lead program, and some of the other things that your team works on are so vital today. And I know if I was a leader, let's say back still in a retail store or something like that, I'd be wanting every resource I can get to educate myself. because you just said it, right? It's heightened today. And so we've got to really
Yeah.
raise our level even more.
Now, lead is risky too. Like, here's
Yeah,
why lead is a risk. Because we very purposefully built lead not based on job titles in T-Mobile. We didn't build lead to say you are a mobile expert and this is going to prepare you to be a RAM and an RSM at T-Mobile. We
right.
built them around mindset shifts and competencies and leadership capabilities that technically are not T-Mobile specific. And so we're taking a bit of a risk by saying, like, we want to develop you and we hope that you can see that. And we hope that you keep it here with us, but we're invested in you as people. A little
Yeah.
risky, but I think it's paying off.
Oh, I think that's a great risk that absolutely will pay off. No doubt. No doubt. Well, that's awesome. I definitely want to stay close to you on this as the year unfolds, because I feel something coming. I really do, and I don't mean to sound doom and gloom at all, because I do think that of any other company, I think we are well positioned to be able to hold on to our great people. Um, and so let me shift gears again for you for a sec.
Oh, we're going down a new path.
We're gonna go to the other road. Yeah,
Well, before you do that, I got
yeah.
a couple questions. Can we pause for a second? I got a couple
We can
questions.
pause.
One,
Absolutely.
don't actually pause the recording. I did a little bit of homework, and I think I'm still my first episode. Let's say the first episode of Yak with Mac and Mac. I think that's still in like top 10
Yes.
listenership.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. At least top 5. Oh, yeah.
last time it was Liz Amanda Moss. I'm coming for you with the Yak with Mac and Mac too. So okay. Anyway, I feel like I need to call somebody out on every Yak with Mac and Mac. That's like a thing. People are gonna ask,
Yeah.
he didn't call anybody out. He didn't say he's gonna beat somebody in listenership. So
People would be disappointed if you didn't. I mean,
they
yeah,
would.
absolutely.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Can you imagine our fan mail?
um, all right, it is that time of year, right? And December, typically, especially as you get into late December, for me, I have a tough time sleeping because my mind is working overtime on reflecting back on this year and really looking forward to next year. In your opinion, what are some things that leaders should be doing to prepare going into 2022? And should they be reflecting and looking back? And are there any benefits to that?
Yeah, absolutely there is. There's a couple things. One, Q4 is deceptive, and my face looked weird. You can edit that. Can we just green screen a better face? I don't know,
Yes.
Bradley Cooper's face.
Absolutely.
Just checking. So Q4 is deceptive. It's like a crimped hose because we tend to like slow down like our our communication to the field. We tend to a lot of that stuff slows down so the field can rightfully so focus on helping our customers here in Q4. But for all of us in support roles of the field, those who support our customers, it's a crimped hose. Okay, well we can't do anything yet. Hold, and then we let that hose loose in Q1, and it gets real crazy real quick. So that can lull you into a false sense of like security in Q4. You're like, oh, okay, there's not much to do here. I'm just gonna kind of kick back. I'll drink some eggnog if that's my jam. Listen to some maybe Mariah Carey Christmas jams or something. But I think this is the time to really focus on your early quarter or early year strategy stuff. What are the things that are gonna hit? How can you prepare everything? I like to use the metaphor of like planes circling the tarmac. Like, when you're at like a really busy airport, air traffic control's got all these planes and they're in the air. And then once it's time, they're like, okay, plane 1, go, plane 2, go, plane. Like, that's what I'm doing in Q4. And what I recommend people do is start kind of preparing those planes in the air, make sure that they're circling the tarmac, because that will put you in the best position to win. While you're doing that, during that slow period, take a look at a couple of things. My recommendation is use it, don't use it. Again, my team is like, I stopped listening 10 minutes ago. Take a look at your systems that you have in place to manage your work. It's a good time to do that. You got a little blank space on your calendars. Take a step back, think about how you and your team are organizing the work and see if there's any efficiencies that you can streamline there. The other thing you can do is over the course of a year, a lot of times we all become Frankenstein's monsters of jobs and tasks. A new thing comes along, so you bolt it on here. A new thing happens here, so you replace your pinky with that. Another thing comes on and you just throw it there. Q4 is a good time to take a step back, list out, map out, whatever you have to do, all of the roles and responsibilities, all your tasks, all the things, all the clutter that's accumulated over the year, and stock balance that stuff, reprioritize it. Take a look at maybe if you're a leader, if you happen to be in a management position, take a look at your team members and say, this person has 10 things, this person has 2 things. Can I stock balance some of that? This is a good time to do some of that work as well, to just level set some of that stuff as you head into the new year after singing Old Lang Syne and champagne flutes and stuff.
I love that. And I mean, that is just some sound advice that all sounds pretty easy to do. And I just think
that's my brand. That's my brand. Well, make it easy. I'm very easy stuff.
But it's so practical that it can't help but help, especially as you go into the next year. Should I be reevaluating my people in any way? I know we have reviews and everything coming up in January. I used to do a thing where I would re-interview everybody, that was on my team back in the day. How do I get my team to shift their mindset just a little bit also and get them to think about all the things that you just talked about?
Sure. 12 months is a long time to be running at breakneck uncarrier speed. Yeah. And often we don't have a time as individual contributors or as leaders to stop, pause, reflect, and think about all the great stuff you did. So the one thing I encourage people to do right now as well is list everything out. List out your accomplishments. List out the things you did, how it impacted the business. Make a little brag book, if you will. It's a really good time to do that because sometimes, man, by December, I'm tired. Yeah. I'm very tired, and I am probably the hardest on myself. I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. My imposter syndrome kicks up a lot at the end of Q4. We could do a whole podcast around imposter syndrome. That would be a barrel of monkeys. But it's a good time to take a step back and just write down all the great stuff that you did, because everybody has a brag book full of great stuff we did in this company. Yeah, and that alone will reset your mindset.
I love that. I love that. Wow, man, I could talk to you all day. I have to tell you,
let's do it.
Let's just a marathon, telethon. And we could raise money for I don't know anything, and just people could call in and that you've given me a great idea.
We should do a call-in. Next with Mac and Mac should be a call-in.
We're a call-in show. Absolutely. We're going to be sitting here probably just like looking at each other, waiting for the phone to ring. But that might not. That's a great idea. It wasn't until I spoke to Denise Vidal, a phenomenal leader. I had not heard the expression imposter syndrome before.
No.
That's only a couple of months ago now. Yeah, I had not heard that, and I'm sure I've done it. I don't think I've been immune to that. But all right, I want to wrap there, but I gotta, since we're right there near the holidays, and you mentioned Mariah Carey, so I gotta ask you 2 quick things. What's your favorite Christmas movie or holiday movie?
Oh boy, Die Hard. Die Hard.
I somehow knew you were going to say that. I definitely go down the road that it's not a holiday movie, but it's like officially now.
Come on, it is a holiday movie. Yeah, if a movie primarily exists within the space of Christmas or the holidays or what have you, it's a holiday movie.
I guess. All right. I guess I'll give that to you.
It takes place at the Nakatomi Tower, the holiday party. The entire film takes place at a holiday party. I'll fight you on this one.
Yeah, a lot of people get killed at that holiday party. Spoiler alert, right? If you've never seen it.
Somebody says ho ho ho, and then they say I have a machine gun. Exactly. But they say ho ho ho.
Except first, absolutely. But
my first here's my I'm sorry, I'm not even gonna let us stop. Here's my one of my other favorite ones is Mickey's Christmas Carol. You remember that old jam? That when I was a kid, that was like every year we would put on Mickey's Christmas Carol. I also have, this is deep cut, and I want to see if anybody in the comments has seen this. Every year on New Year's Eve, my family would get together and we do like they do like a game night, and the kids, we would all go down to the basement and we would watch TV, because we didn't like people, we like TV. And there was a New Year's Eve special it was a Disney show called Kids Incorporated.
Yes, I remember
And
that. Sure.
it was the episode where, I don't know why, like my brain should probably have more T-Mobile related knowledge in it. It was the episode where all the ice cream melted at the place, which was the restaurant slash performance venue that they were at, and all the ice cream melted, and it was a real emergency. And I think they sang 80s songs because of it.
Because of it. I don't remember that episode, but I do remember the show. That's funny. That's so random. And Die Hard, I was just gonna say this. It's now listed Amazon Prime where it says holiday movies. That's like the first movie that's listed. So
I mean, come on.
I've lost a battle. And real quick, with Mariah Carey. So is that your favorite holiday song? What's your favorite holiday song?
It's Baby Please Come Home.
Baby Please Come Home. Okay. All right.
And
Gotcha.
the reason I like that is my musical tastes tend to skew towards sad. If you ask Spotify Unwrapped, it's moody and melancholy. And Baby Please Come Home, although it's got the sleigh bells and all, is this sad song about like you're not here, I wish you were here. So I do appreciate a good sad song with a little holiday flair. Not a bad thing either.
Now, I don't think anybody that's known you for 5 seconds would have ever guessed that that you.
It's true.
The genre is a little bit on the sad side, a little Tony Braxton, a little
Except you know who creeped into my Spotify Unwrapped playlist like I don't know, like a house on fire. Forever Your Girl by Paula Abdul. Top 100. Come on.
How did that get in? Yeah.
I have no idea.
It's a great song though, but I don't know how that got into you.
Oh, such a song.
Yeah. Listen, this has been a lot of fun, but I just love the advice you gave. I've got to get you back a little sooner than waiting almost a year, because I really want to continue to talk about the churn thing, but I really want to. I'm very anxious and curious to see what's kicking off next year. I know you've got some great things planned. But Patrick, this has been phenomenal, man. What great advice you always have for leaders. You're one of those unused resources that I think people need to use a lot more.
I thought when you were started, I thought you were going to say unusual. I'm like, he's going to say unusual right now. I thought that was where that was going. Then it was unused.
No, absolutely. Well, listen, why don't you take us home and you close us out?
Okay. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for listening to Volume 2 of the Yak with Mac and Mac. He's Mac, and I'm Mac too, because my last name is McDaniels. You get it? McWiller McDaniels, the Yak with Mac and Mac. We've done 2 of these. We're going to do more. Today's episode brought to you by Audible.com. Just kidding. There's no... you're gonna have to edit that out, because that's not true. I'm also going to end by singing a Beatles song, so we can get the... we're going to have to pay for that. So, I'm not going to do that. Mac, thanks for having me. Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks, guys.